Welcome to another episode of Sensational Support Podcast. And today we are going to be looking at communication, social interaction, and a little bit of attachment for babies between the ages of 3 to 9 months. Let's get into it. What to expect. Okay, so if we start by looking at social behavior and play, at 3 months and plus, the baby will turn their head in curiosity to find the sound of a voice that they may hear coming. You may hear this voice coming from their parent, may be returning home from work, and they turn their head in anticipation of that person appearing in the room because they recognize the voice. Their eyebrows may wrinkle. You may see their eyes dilate, the pupils dilate in anticipation of the person that is coming. They may move their head from side to side as though they're searching for the source of the sound. If they're moving, they may suddenly quieten if they hear the sound of a rattle beyond the space that they're in, or a bell, a small bell ringing. Unless distressed or crying, there is a definite quietening or smiling when they are in anticipation of that voice drawing closer. Also in social behavior and play, the baby will be staring fixedly at their carer during feeds with a contented and purposeful gaze. They eagerly anticipate their bottle feed and begin to show reactions to familiar situations by smiling, cooing, and making excited movements. In their speech, language, and communication, the baby will cry when they're uncomfortable or annoyed. They will lick their lips or smack their lips when they can hear the sound of their bottle being made or their food being prepared. And they show excitement at the sounds of approaching footsteps or at the sound of their bath being run. Still under speech, language, and communication from 3 to 6 months, you will hear the baby vocalizing delightedly when they are being spoken to, when they're being interacted with, but also when they're on their own. You will hear them in another room squealing and making sounds. These sounds are integrated with smiles, hand movement, body movement, and good eye contact during interaction. Back to social behavior and play. They are engaged and enthusiastic in familiar and often repeated games. They show anticipation if the carer pauses at fun points in nursery rhymes and other action songs. They will follow the adult point to another object or person. Still with social behavior and play, and at 6 to 9 months, toys can be the shared focus of play. They will immediately reach out for a rattle when it is shaken, and then they themselves will shake it deliberately, knowing it's going to make that sound. They will often be looking at it, regarding it very, very closely at the same time. They are able to manipulate objects very, very attentively, moving them from one hand to the other during their exploration of it. They take everything to their mouth. They lick and they mouth everything. And when they're totally absorbed in an object, they may be oblivious to their main carer's attempts to communicate with them. With speech, language, and communication at 6 to 9 months, they vocalize tunefully using a sing-song tone, and you will hear vowels that have single and double syllables, such as ah, single, ah, double. You should expect to hear m and goo and lots of different sounds, lots of different vowel sounds. The baby will laugh and chuckle and squeal in play, but they will also scream when they're annoyed. Deliberately scream is an expression. They recognize their carer's facial expressions, so they can see when the carer is happy or fearful, and they respond to the emotions in their main carer's voice. Now let us explore attachment. What is it? Attachment refers to the baby's selective, usually the primary carer and often the mother, and enduring, long-lasting and very forgiving of their mother, main carer. What else do they know? Attachment becomes apparent at 6 to 7 months, with the baby seeking out proximity for security and comfort. This security then enables the baby to explore their environment, knowing that they can return to this figure of attachment if there are any threats. If they are feeling uncomfortable in their environment, if something startles them, they know they can go back to this person for comfort and security. So what that looks like is between 7 to 9 months, the baby who is very securely, firmly attached to their main carer will begin to reject being handed over to unfamiliar people, to strangers, or even family members that they don't see regularly. They will recoil physically when somebody is trying to hand them over. You can feel their actual body resisting to this. They may turn back and cling to their main carer's neck, but they definitely are saying, no, I don't feel safe with that person. I don't know them. This is a good thing. It is due to the main carer's sensitivity and motivation in reading the baby's signals and the engaged and affectionate quality of their responses that forms the basis of the two-way relationship between the baby and the main carer. And as I said, it is a good thing because this established attachment enables children to form all other relationships and have simultaneous attachments with other caregivers, such as their father, their grandparents, their older siblings. But of course, there will always be an order of preference. Whomsoever the baby sees as their main attachment, they will sit at the top of this order of preference. Remember up top we said selective. Compared to those who have a history of poor attachment relationships, children with a secure and stable attachment history are generally more capable of developing and maintaining successful relationships and better emotional regulation, with a more positive sense of self as adults. Now let's look at the differences that you may see. If between the ages of 3 to 9 months, the baby does not turn their eyes or their head towards approaching sounds, they don't search for sound sources by moving their head from side to side, they are very quiet and still much of the time without emerging sounds, if there is a limited anticipation for daily routine care activities, and there is no curiosity or engagement with their surroundings or with the people in them, and then if specifically from 6 to 9 months, there is limited to no shared attention in play, if they need a lot of encouragement to reach for a rattle or a bell or something that you are holding, if there is a very minimal exploration of objects and limited attention to play objects, then any one of these individual differences may need exploration for hearing loss or deafness and be a representation of a syndrome that doesn't have obvious features. A combination of these differences could lead to exploration and assessment of complex communication and social interaction differences. after having ruled out any attachment issues or difficulties between the main carer and the baby. Again, as said in the previous episode, the main carer's tiredness and strive to establish a good daily routine so that they can have a sense of parenting well can mean they spend less time on focusing on communication and interaction with the baby. The windows of opportunity to communicate and interact with the baby may have been missed, and some input with parenting classes or individual sessions with clinical psychology can help to get things back on track. Okay, so if there is any gaps in your understanding of this particular episode, please do go back a step and have a look at episode 1. That completes the second of 2 episodes exploring communication, social interaction with a little bit of attachment thrown in. The next episode will continue to explore this, but we will be looking then at 9 to 18 months. Yeah, so tune in for the next episode and go on and have yourselves a good day, a good morning, a good evening, and I will see you soon.